If she does not stop immediately and correct herself, she is going to crash out. She's already crashing out in her server. She is having a very bad woman moment. But I felt really bad about Bao, partially because of her crying. Chat, if a big female streamer cries in front of you, run the fuck away. I believe that she puts on a facade and acts. And this is the real Bao. The one that gets annoyed that she has to deal with this. The one that gets annoyed that she has to deal with the fact that the person she tried to throw away fought back and she has to deal with it again. That's who the real Bao is, in my opinion. Today we're talking about Bao the whale. Now, chat, I will say I do not hate Bao. I dislike a lot of the actions she has chosen to do. It makes me start to question how honest she really is with her personality. How much of her is very performative, because after seeing some of the stuff I've seen recently that she has chosen to say, it has made me start to question how real Bao is as a person. I would say, just to give you guys like a brief bringing up history, up until literally the Cinder drama, all of the VTubers who were part of the Cinder drama, they were, for the most part, drama-free, clean individuals. All of them kept their noses clean. They didn't talk about things. They were just chill, non-confrontational people. Then as soon as the Cinder drama happens, all of these people crack. And you start to notice that this facade, I think everybody just needs to recognize, a lot of these people are a facade. They are just showing you what you want to see. If you actually saw them when the camera was off, you would probably not like them all that much. But the facade of all of these people that is slowly revealing itself is cracking and breaking apart, and what you are getting as a response is the real person. Now, with Bao, a lot of her drama really just comes from the fact that she herself was hurt by other people. And I do think you should give a lot of sympathy for the situation she's gone in. She's been scammed by managers. She's been scammed by artists, and I would include Nano in that. And she has been hurt by other people. To a small extent, you could probably say that maybe Cinder is somebody that she feels hurt by. However, after seeing how she's acted, I don't remove my sympathy, but I do look at her in a completely different light, and I do start to wonder what is real and what is fake. But a lot of what I am seeing here is concerning to me, and I'm going to make a prediction that this is not a one and done thing. What has happened with Bao over the last couple of days that we're going to get into, that is, in my personal opinion, systemic of a major problem, is going to continue, where she is going to do this more and more. She's going to have more and more controversies. And like our favorite furry man, Jason Thorhall, if she does not stop immediately and correct herself, she is going to crash out. She's already been crashing out in her server, but she is having what I would say to be a very bad woman moment, where she says something, and I will say right here, right now, there's a lot of nuance that you could probably apply to it, and a lot of people that would probably agree with it, all right? But the way it's being worded and the way that a lot of people are taking it, especially at the time when it is being said, and the environment that we as a society are in, does not rub people the right way. So my prediction is, if she is not careful, it is going to continue to lead down a rabbit hole where she continues to crash out. So what happened? To give you a TLDR, the Ms. Kiff situation, in my personal opinion, very shitty. But after the Ms. Kiff situation blows up, Bao comes out. If you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small growing audience, and a much larger and more successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMs, etc., don't walk, run. And at the bottom, she also includes, just because I don't include every nuance, exception, possibility, and variation doesn't mean we're still not having the same conversation. Stay safe, gang. Now this, by the way, came a little bit later, because she posts this, and then 47 minutes later, she has to put this down here to try and hopefully correct the record. Now, here's the problem. The situation that she is referencing is agreeable. It's obvious that she's talking about Miss Kiff. Now, I don't know 100% the entirety of the situation with him and Emiru. All I know is that both of them became partners at some point, and he was a bigger creator than she was, and now they are both a comparable size, but he has been an asshole to her. So at its face, I can agree. The problem is, this is such a generalized statement, okay, that if you apply this, let's say to, I don't know, fucking, what's his name that works with Iron Mouse? Sea-Dog? Should I apply this to Sea-Dog, Bao? Like, I'm pretty sure Iron Mouse had her own little following, but Sea-Dog was definitely way bigger than her at some point. So is Bao telling me that she would go to the past and tell Iron Mouse not to work with Sea-Dog? No, fuck no. But my problem with this is it is so generalized. She is basically saying any big content creator that is a man that wants to help somebody, and I will agree, there are creeps out there, for sure. Also applies to males? Yes, and that's the other problem, is this only applies to males. It's just like, that does not work. Especially since it's not just men that do this. I'm not going to pretend that it is a 50-50 split, and men and women are both equal, and men and women both do the same amount of crimes, because that's not true. Men and women commit different crimes disproportionately, but it's going to create an environment where men are going to choose to be less inclusive of other people because they don't want to deal with this shit. Let's say you have Evanito, all right? Evanito is a pretty big VTuber. He spends a lot of his time with a bunch of other streamers, you know, and a lot of those streamers end up being women. So is Bao saying that if Evanito decides that he wants to say, oh, there's this cool little streamer that I want to like say that I like her, maybe I'll give her some attention. Is she saying that Evanito is a creepy guy? Is she saying that he is untrustworthy? That's very mean to say about Evanito. He does look like a sincere guy, and it does like he does care about people. So it's just like, are you telling me that I can't trust Evanito, Bao? That's the other problem with this. It's just like, the moment that you say this, you then immediately have to make carve-outs and caveats for so many good guys that exist. There are so many nice people in the world. Out of 10 nice guys, there's going to be one asshole that, yes, you have to worry about. But you are immediately assigning that blame. You are immediately calling all men Ms. Kiff. That is what she is doing here, all right? Hell, I'll take it even further. What about Tectone? Huh? What about Tectone? You know, when the Cinder shit happened, oh, he was giving you and Shy Lily and Nano all this support, all right? I don't know how well she knows Tectone, but like, are you telling me I can't trust Tectone? It really is a Me Too mindset. But like, throw any man that you can think of in the chat here. Any man that you can think of. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of some of these other content creators, but I don't hate them because they're sex pests. I hate them because they're assholes, all right? And I just don't like their personality. Bao is literally lumping in Ms. Kiff and all of these other men, all of these men that don't apply, all of them, legitimately, every big male content creator. And it's just like, let's flip it. Should this not apply to female content creators? So many people don't understand just how dangerous this statement is, because she is trying to assign blame to everyone. Again, I know what you're talking about, woman. I know in your wolf furry addled brain, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Ms. Kiff. It is, yes, because let me tell you, men are going to distance. There are going to be men that will look at this and say, I really don't want to mess with that. All right, cool. They're not going to try with you, Bao. There's so many opportunities could potentially be shut because you are telling people to divide themselves from the opposite sex. And it's just like, this kind of mentality is disgusting to me, all right? I'm going to like pull the leftist wording here when I say this is gross, you know? This way of thinking is gross. I agree that there are some shitty men in life. You know, I have a dad that was pretty shitty to my mom and to me. So I get it, you know? There are guys that suck. But you are feeding into this toxic message that will destroy generations and make men not want to try. We already have an epidemic where men don't want to try with women. They are not interested in you. And you are pushing that even further. And so when I see people agreeing with this, either they don't know or don't understand that this shows people that you're not worth interacting with. There's a lot of men out there that aren't like this. You know, it's good to know. Women, there's a lot of men that don't represent what Bao is trying to say here. And for men, there's a lot of women out there that don't think like Bao does, that isn't so addled in her brain, that isn't so like terminally online. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the behavior of women that are so terminally online, they don't think they can have real relationships with men. If you want me to believe that this is not what you meant, then you should have deleted it or changed it. You're basically saying all men. That's my opinion on it. But other people have had opinions too. I picked out some of my favorite opinions here. First one I noticed. Alanity pretty much has the exact same take I do here. Says, hot take, men are not inherently evil, and thinking so is sexist, which is true. Because if I read this here, there is no room for anything other than just saying a much larger successful male content creator approaches you and showers you attention. Don't walk, run. There is no nuance to what there is saying here. She is saying that male streamers are evil. That is inherently evil and sexist and morally wrong. Alanity got one of the very few replies where Bao says, creating the worst possible interpretation of what I said and then being mad at it is definitely a choice. No, Bao, you are literally putting a gendered gap together. You are literally saying women avoid men. That is what you were saying. I'm not misunderstanding here. That's exactly what you said. Alanity said, you made a very broad statement about men, generalization where your words, not mine. Bao said, my statement was actually quite specific with two very specific kinds of people in a very specific scenario and context. Didn't seem broad to me. Alanity says, there's billions of men and women. There are millions of content creators. That's kind of broad. I agree with your statement. I just think we should protect ourselves no matter the gender. There are definitely men and women that abuse their power in the content creator sphere. In fact, if we want to go back a couple years, women were getting called out left and right. You had Pokimane. I think Valkyrie was also among them. There was also that dog fucker girl as well. I can't remember her name. The DMCA PewDiePie. It's not like women are completely innocent here. I would hope and pray that Bao doesn't try and insinuate that. It's not true. Because both sides are capable of evil. I think Arch had a pretty funny one. Arch sent a screenshot of this to Amal. He says, I sent this to Amal with a picture of an open door leading outside and saying, go, be free. This is what I got in return. I agree with Bao. I should be running. Rescue me. Amal says, cry harder. I enjoy the taste of your tears. Now, Neven, she catches me off guard sometimes. But Neven says, Ms. Kiv, naming the person that we all know that Bao is talking about, being a creep doesn't mean every male creator is a predator. Stop acting like one man's sexual misconduct is the blueprint for all men in this industry. Call him out, not the entire gender. I thought a good reply to shout out here was this person named Emerald Apple. They are like an AI and drama follower. Emerald Apple says, she should not have said male. It applies to both genders, and be very wary of people who suddenly love bombs you. At least it borderlines tendencies. I agree. People borderline on both ends. And I think the thing that's extremely sad is that people aren't willing to look at both ends. They are just willing to say, oh, women are the most vulnerable people. Oh, women are the ones that are hurt the most. And it's just like, yeah, women are definitely hurt a lot, and we definitely put a lot of light on them. Men love women. They want to help women out. Even actually brings up a good point, and I will be talking about one of these content creators later. She says, exactly. Just 2 days ago, female creators were banned for sexual assault and unbanned within 24 hours, which is a whole separate issue. Predatory behavior isn't a male problem. And she's correct. There are some male creators that if they get caught doing what these women did, they would be perma-banned. But these women were gross, and they only got 24-hour bans. Anyway, Neven made a video.
So Bao posted this tweet, and we need to talk about how harmful and honestly embarrassing this is. If you're a small, up-and-coming female creator and a big male creator approaches you with attention, don't walk, run. Oh, so now every successful male creator showing support is automatically a predator? Man equals danger, woman equals prey? This isn't awareness, it's an anxiety bait. Unless
it's accurate.
Bao herself got massive exposure in her career from bigger male streamers like Sea-Dog. Was that predator?
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. Bao, when is the Sea-Dog expose coming out? I don't know. I'd like to know. I'd like to know personally.
predatory too, or was it just considered support when it benefited you? Miskiff, being creep doesn't mean every male creator is a predator. You don't build safety by demonizing half of the industry. You build it by calling out individual actions, not entire genders. And then she went live crying that she's getting cancelled over this tweet. Sis, no one is canceling you. If you had just said, okay, I worded this badly, I didn't mean to generalize all men, people would have moved on, but the ego, the I stand by
The
attitude,
woman
it's
ego.
embarrassing. I'm not denying that there are male predators. Of course there are, but pretending it's only men while ignoring the fact that women can be predators too, like Nina and Zoe, who were literally banned this week live on stream for sexual assault, is pure sexism. And then on Discord, she started blaming the pyropups and
I did not pre-watch this. I did not know that this was included in here.
the grifters for being critical of her. You don't get to generalize men and then cry when people react. You are on the internet. If you post a dumb take, people will call you out. Having millions of followers doesn't make you immune to criticism. It makes you more accountable. Maybe next time, just admit you worded it badly instead of insulting half the industry, because accountability isn't gendered and neither is danger. Equality isn't built by teaching women to run. It's built by teaching everyone to recognize real red flags, no matter who's holding them. And you don't get to shame an entire group of people when literally 80% of your fan base is male. You built your career off male support, male viewers, and male collaborations, and then turned around and told your audience they're a threat. So maybe stop painting them as predators just for existing.
I thought that Neven did a pretty good TLDR on that. So, what has Bao's response been to all of this? This solidifies to me why I'm not going to believe Bao so much in the future. When she gets on camera and cries to people, this is why I will not believe her. Bao the Dent, in a response to somebody saying, proud of Bao for talking and not happy for the Twitter talking back, Bao says, it's mostly pyropups and grifters, so nothing different than the past 5 months for me. You know, I seem to recall when she got on camera and was crying for an hour and some change about the Cinder stuff. The entire time, a lot of people considered her tears as a metric for how fucked up the situation was. This is just showing me that she doesn't give a shit, you know? This also, and this is really just my personal opinion here, this proves to me that she probably knew more than she was putting on. Some people infer that, and even Cinder inferred that maybe Bao didn't know that Nano was lying. I'm gonna be honest, this shows me that she did, and that she played along a lot more than she wants you to believe. But that's my opinion, and you should not take my opinion as fact. This is proof to me that she's just a plastic individual, not real. And if you actually knew her in real life, all of the tears, all of the I'm such a squishy, not a very innocent girl, never does anything bad, you know, if that's what you want to believe out of her, good luck. She's lying to you. There is one other thing in relations to Bao. It was discovered when this guy was watching Rima. I don't know if Rima had this pulled up. This is Bao giving her rebuttal about the Cinder doc. We're gonna figure out what she thinks about the Cinder doc.
I'm finally home now, and yeah, if I don't know. If anyone else wants to drop like a Google Doc on me, could you guys wait till like maybe after the holidays? Could you guys give me maybe like, I don't know, like a 1 to 2 month notice? That'd be really, really awesome.
Did you give a 1 to 2 month notice on Cinder? Did you give Cinder 2 months notice? Did you give it to her during work hours? Did you tell Cinder that you were going to do this? Did you give her any form of explanation? The answer is no. You didn't give her any warning. You released a Google Doc in tandem with the lying artist, Nanoless, at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night. And if she was not streaming, she would not have seen this until the next day. I'm sorry if you are pissed off that Cinder decides to respond when you're in the middle of TwitchCon. So it's just like, you know, I really don't feel any fucking sympathy for you anymore. When the Cinder stuff first started, I was trying to figure out who was to blame, who was actually a victim, and who needed to just move the fuck on. Bao was one of the ones where I felt like the most bad for. Her and Silverveil. You already know how I feel about Silverveil. But I felt really bad about Bao, partially because of her crying. Chat, if a big female streamer cries in front of you, run the fuck away. But I felt bad for you, Bao, because I did actually feel as if Red had harmed your business. Then as time moves on, we get that big Google Doc reply And we figure out that that's not true, that it's an analyst. And I start to wonder if Bao knew everything that was going on because, you know, out of everybody, she was the one that had to get surgery. So she was out of commission. And so she was kind of like thrust into it. But now hearing this, I wonder how much I should really like give you, how much sympathy you deserve. I'm going to be honest with you. Wow, I really don't think you deserve any now. This is how you act after contributing to the attempt to ruin somebody's life. And before, I was willing to excuse most of it from you because I didn't think you knew. But now, I think you knew. I think you were an active participant. And I think that you were acting the whole time. And this just shows me how malicious and disgusting you are. So I really don't care, you know, about your feelings. I don't care if you're in the middle of the air, you're 10,000 feet above water, and suddenly you get a Harry Potter length book saying how you're also a manipulative person. I really don't give a shit, you know, because turnabout is fair play. Also, I'm not going to entertain if she did or didn't get surgery. I'm just going to hope that she's not lying about that. I'm going to hope and pray she's not lying about that. But I believe that she puts on a facade and acts. And this is the real Bao. The one that gets annoyed that she has to deal with this. The one that gets annoyed that she has to deal with the fact that the person she tried to throw away fought back and she has to deal with it again. That's who the real Bao is, in my opinion.
I actually can't. I'm actually like this close to going into psychosis. Like that would be really, really awesome. Yeah, I'm genuinely like this close. Like you don't even have to like write a Google Doc. Like make a scathing tweet about me, and that might just be enough. I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, just letting anyone know if you got any issues you wanna air out with me. I can't even think of any. Apparently, a lot of things are worth.
And from what I've been told, some of the next things that are being mentioned came from the Google Doc.
Are worth putting into Google Docs now, such as oh my god, like can you guys, I don't know, maybe like taking my editors out for dinner, and you know, one of my editors flying in from the Philippines. Apparently prioritizing feeding them is a cause for, you know, a grudge against me. Or actually, you know, another thing too is you know,
I don't believe any of that was mentioned. I think that what was mentioned is how she acted at restaurants. Not that an artist was flown out, but how she acted when the actions of the restaurant took place.
you know, being so obsessed with me that you buy a Twitch sub and stalk my Discord server and try to watch my mental breakdowns to my...
This is a big thing to allege, by the way, Bao. I hope that you've got something to back this up, because that's a pretty big allegation. Now, I'm telling you right now, I would say if she's smart, but I don't think she is smart, honestly. Her giving out this much, this is a crash out, chat. There's no screaming. This woman is choosing to allege a whole bunch of things. Do you want to know why she's doing it? Because there's no fight anymore. Cinder has already said she's done. I don't need to fight anymore. So what you're going to get, and I don't believe this will just stop with her, honestly, is a bunch of these people that think they can be catty little bitches because their opponents said they don't want to fight anymore. So they just get to say whatever they want and act however they want, and so many people are just going to eat it up. I don't really know which is more sad, the fact that people are going to believe this at face value without any backing it up.
Sub server, apparently that's a cause for a growing grudge, or maybe
By the way, the sub was never mentioned in Cinder's doc, by the way. And I should say, I would know because I read the entire thing from cover to cover with friends helping me, not a robot that definitely will mess up.
Yeah, being pissed off at a racist Japanese shop owner for kicking me and my friends out because we were foreigners. Yeah, apparently that's also justification for...
Again, I'd like to see the proof for this. Cinder has alleged a bunch of stuff. You're alleging a lot of stuff too.
Hating the absolute shit out of me. Oh, God, no, sorry. I should have been nicer to that racist old Japanese lady.
You know, here's the other thing that I just thought of. She is alleging that a store owner from a place she went to was racist towards her. That's defamation if she's wrong. And if that store owner wants that store owner could come and talk about it. And if that store owner is wronged by Bao, you know, if people are mad enough to figure out where that store owner is and ruin their business, that store owner could go after Bao. Legally, of course. Bao really needs to be careful with what she's saying, because not only is she bringing in Cinder and her boyfriend, but she is bringing in third parties that don't need to be involved. So I hope that she's not lying.
Lady that kicked me and all my friends out despite us having a reservation. Yeah, no, it's cool.
Thank you, user,
Awesome.
for the follow.
You know, and yeah, by the way, I don't want your fucking money. Have a great life. Let's have a great stream today, guys. What do we think?
That's quite the thing to say before. Guys, I'm gonna fucking depress all of you, and then we're just gonna have a good stream. Man, it feels like, man, reservations leave a paper trail. They do. Japan takes defamation seriously, so she can be sued. Yes, she can. Again, I don't condone this, and I will ban you if you do it. But if somebody found out where she went to and told the person about this, she could get in a lot of trouble. Maybe if you're right, who cares? But like, I hope that you're right, because this is really sad.
Not sure where that came from. I've just had such a shitty fucking year, guys. I've just had such a shitty fucking year. Let me crash out one time. That's all I...
This is not the last time she's going to crash out. This is not the last time that Bao is going to crash out. I will tell you right now. It's going to happen again and again and again. Yeah, it kind of sucks when a lot of shit happens to you, but having shit happen to you is not an excuse for you being a shit person yourself. Just gonna be real with you. You know, you can tell me if you agree or disagree. Right now, a lot more people are fighting her battles for her, and that's probably all she's content doing. Yeah, I do think there's a lot of missing context going on, and that typically happens with some of these big creators. I mean, we caught Zen in a lie about a week ago, so I'm not surprised. So that's the Bao situation. Just her coming out, being an absolute psychopath, both as a streamer and in real life. To make sure we say yes, women too, we're gonna read a situation where another male streamer who had to deal with a woman streamer, we're going to read his experience. Disguised Toast drops a response to the viral clip of Nina Lin making him uncomfortable on a massage table. Says he should have spoken up at the moment but felt pressured to go along with it in order to not disrupt a sponsored stream. So, Disguised Toast says, this clip is going around with the recent convos, so I will address it. I was trying to get a massage from the physical therapist when Nina, an IRL streamer I never met, pushed aside the therapist and started grabbing my ass while I was already laid on the table. I felt pressured to go along with it because 3 IRL streamer cameras pointed at my face and was also being at a sponsored event. I did not want to escalate the situation. I was extremely uncomfortable at the time. Definitely should have said something in the moment and regret not doing so. And honestly, a little ashamed of myself for not speaking up because I just know if I ever spoke up about it again in the future, people will say, well, you probably should have stopped it then. No, I don't agree with the quoted tweet using derogatory terms to describe Nina. Just wanted to use it as context. So, this guy's Toast. He's another male streamer. Gets sexually assaulted by a woman while he's trying to get a massage. Now, it is my understanding that she got a 24-hour ban on Twitch. You see a man grab a woman's ass on Twitch, he could get permabanned. But if a woman does it, who cares? It's 24 hours, you know? She's allowed to get a little sexual assault. It's kind of sad, you know, that Bao thinks that it's a male-only problem. But from what I'm seeing, a lot of male do it, but women do it too. And instead of trying to blame men for all of these problems, we should instead focus on encouraging people to just be better people and avoid behaviors, not entire genders. Kind of sad because I thought she was one of the good ones, but sadly not.